Nepal is on the edge. Massive nationwide protests have erupted, spearheaded by the country's young generation. At least 22 people have died in clashes with security forces. Curfews have been imposed. Prime Minister Sharma Oli has resigned. Outgoing ministers from the cabinet are being hunted down and attacked. It's like a frame-to-frame remake of what happened in Bangladesh on 5th of August 2024. But the question on everyone's mind is, what really triggered this sudden explosion of anger? And more importantly, who is behind it? Now, the immediate spark was the government's decision to ban social media apps, but the unrest runs much deeper. For over a week, terms like Nepo kids and Nepo babies have been trending online, signaling simmering frustration among Nepal's youth. The protests reflect disconnect over corruption, nepotism, unemployment, and mass migration. Young protesters, including students in uniforms, have been mobilizing through social media. They are exposing government's failures, from potholes to migration policies, creating a groundswell of public anger. What appears spontaneous is the result of months of online activism and youth-led scrutiny. The timing of this protest is noteworthy. Prime Minister Oli had just returned from China, where he attended the SCO summit in Tianjin. He was scheduled to visit India later this month. Analysts suggest the coincidence may have influenced both the scale and intensity of the protests. Nepal's strategic importance adds another layer to the crisis. The country is a key neighbor for both India and China. This is the second South Asian nation in a year to see student-led unrest. Bangladesh experienced mass protests that toppled a pro-India government, if you remember. External powers have been watching, though there is no evidence that they directly triggered the unrest. Under Prime Minister Oli, Nepal signed framework agreements to join China's Belt and Road Initiative in December 2024. At the same time, the United States has invested roughly $500 million in Nepal through the Millennium Challenge Corporation. Nepal's growing ties with China and ongoing US investments create a geopolitical balancing act that adds pressure to domestic policies. However, tensions escalated recently over the Lipu Lake Pass in India's Uttarakhand. Prime Minister Oli publicly asserted Nepalese claims over the area, territory that India considers its own. This mirrors his earlier 2020 protests over Lipu Lake, Kalapani, and Limpiadhura, based on the 1816 Treaty of Sugauli. Oli's foreign policy choices have raised eyebrows in the past. Traditionally, Nepali prime ministers visit India first. Oli's first international trip as PM was to China, signaling a tilt towards Beijing. India responded diplomatically, with Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri delivering a formal invitation for Oli to visit India on September 16th. Experts suggest Oli struggles to balance relations between India and China, comparing centuries-old ties with India to newer transactional relations with Beijing. Speculations is rampant about who is influencing the protests. Some point to US or Chinese interests. Others see pro-monarchy agitators supporting the youth, potentially aligned with India. But Nepal watchers emphasize that the anger is largely homegrown. Corruption, nepotism, and lack of opportunities have long fueled public resentment. The protests spread rapidly throughout the country, demonstrating nationwide reach. Nepal has seen 13 governments since the monarchy ended in 2008. Each administration has left citizens frustrated, with little progress on systematic corruption or development. With Oli stepping down, Nepal faces uncertainty. The resignation comes after a surge in deadly protests and mounting public pressure. The country now searches for stability while managing international divisions and international scrutiny. Nepal's youth have proven that their voices cannot be ignored. Social media activism has transformed into street action, forcing change at the highest level. But the question remains, can Nepal's democracy rebuild and respond to this generation's demands, or will instability persist?